I think the X's and O's on the offense is very similar. Um, so I think it's been that way for a number of years. The concepts are very similar, even when Norm Chow was there, and um, it's really about who they replace and what personnel they put in there more than it is the scheme and the coaches that have evolved on their offense. And defensively, they do some things now a little bit different. Obviously, with Monty Kiffin there, it's not a lot different, but it is. There's some change to it. But that's really it. Well, they got four guys that are very talented, and they got a couple seniors, a junior, and a freshman, and they're very talented guys, and they're it's like a home run hitter. You never know, they can get one out of the yard there for in any play, and so we just got to be really good. Well, it looks like they've obviously cleaned some things up, and they've gotten a little bit better the last few weeks. They have faced in Virginia and Minnesota more balanced attack offenses than just to throw, first attack like Hawaii was. So I think that's maybe been a little bit of the issues, but they look like they've cleaned some things up. Well, it's going to have an impact on them, particularly, not as much this year on their personnel, but it will next and the following year and the following year. I think you're going to see the impact really in the next 3 years, over the next 3 years, have an impact. It was a little bit of a surprise because, I just thought it was a surprise. But that's all going to happen down the road. It's kind of like, where we've been. They're at 70-some scholarships this year, and that's kind of what we were. Our first year we were at 72, 73 last year, and this year 77. And so trying to rebuild a program with that is tough. And what they're going to go through is they're going to be talking like I'm talking in year 4 from now, year 5 from now, and you're going to hear the same kind of words that I speak. You won't see it instantly, but you're going to see it down the road. And I think it opens up the Pac-10 that much more. I always say that things go in cycles a lot of times, and and I think that you'll see the conference cycle a little bit, and some teams really rising higher to the conference over the next 2 to 3, 4 years than necessarily what has been in the past. He went in, his leg got infected. He's been on a high dose of antibiotics, and so he just got out of the hospital. He's lost some weight, but we're just trying to get his leg under control. It's been unfortunate because the plan was to play him from as we got through camp. We thought he would definitely play this year. At this point, if he can't recover within the next week or two, then I don't know that he will play. We'll have to redshirt, and I think Christoph Williams is in that same boat. We kind of take a little bit of step forward, and then we take a step back. Those are two freshmen we thought could clearly have an impact and help our team this season, and both of them have been battling some injuries that are now getting us in a position to where how far do we go with this. And so, those two guys in particular we felt were going to contribute this year. Obviously, Ricky Galvin, and he's done, but those two guys are just lingering issues. With Monty Kiffin, they're a lot more traditional 4-down linemen on a consistent basis. They'll do a little bit of 3-man game, but primarily 4-down linemen. And they'll play their couple different cover 2 schemes that they like to play. They play some true cover 1 scheme that maybe you didn't see as much with USC in the past, and a little bit more cover 2 scheme than you didn't see in the past. So just, some typical Monty Kiffin type of, football. So that's kind of the difference than what they did before. I think they're still trying to get a few pieces together in their offensive line. I think they're very talented in their offensive line, and like us, we're still working through inexperience up front, and so our consistency in blocking isn't there yet. And they may have a few of those issues as well. I probably wouldn't totally disagree with him, but I can't sit here and say they're too inconsistent. Like you just said, they're still rushing for 200 and some yards, so I don't really feel sorry for them. It's important that we get turnovers. It's pretty obvious when you look at statistics over time how your percentages of improvement of winning games when you are on the plus side of turnovers is huge. So we have to create some turnovers or put ourselves in position to get some turnovers. There is absolutely no question in this ball game, and so we're hoping to get that done. And hopefully we can play solid, good, tough defense, force some turnovers. Well, a little bit more. Obviously, each game is really one of those kind of rare guys. He's definitely. You watch how he moves, and the rate and the velocity of his quickness and speed is pretty darn impressive. And he's just getting his feet wet. He's youthful. He's nowhere near the player today that he's going to be as he gains experience, which is pretty common for all young players. The older they get, the better they get, and already you see the physical flashes that you just don't see on film too often, and he's definitely, you can see there's some special talent there. Well, yeah, we're still kind of looking at some options, just because we've gotten a little nicked up at special teams, and we don't want to play a guy only on special teams. We're hoping that they can fit into a rotation. And that's the ideal world. We're still not in an ideal world here. We're still trying to fill holes and fill spots. And so we are playing a few more true freshmen than we want to. But that's just where we're at right now. And so there's a chance we can maybe, play. We're going to take a look this week in practice at Bennett Bontemps, who's had a heck of a camp. Who's a receiver, and he's a tough kid at receiver and at special teams. Tracy Clark, we're going to take another look at, and again, we're just looking at and evaluating him this week. Doesn't mean we're going to play him. So we're just we've got to take a look at that to continue to help our team. Our mood is that I think we're excited for the opportunity to open up Pac-10 play. We've got a youthful bunch of guys that are still learning what it takes, how to prepare, still learning how to play in a game, and really understanding like when you lose, how do you respond when you lose a game, or even how you win a game. And we're just not mature enough yet. We got to keep growing up, and I think they're excited about this game. And I think that they're going to come out and we're going to play hard, and we're going to, I think we'll play a good football game. I really believe that. How we handle ourselves in every situation that comes up in that ball game is to be seen. That's you have question marks sometimes when you're still kind of growing up, and I've got them still in terms of how we're going to respond throughout this football game. Well, that's something we're trying to instill with this football team in our program right now. We've got to start putting some benchmarks and some goals up there and things that we need to shoot for, and because really we're like I said, this is kind of starting all over with our program, and we've got to start setting some hard and high goals for ourselves to try to reach, and I think that's a very fair one and a good one is to defend our home field in Martin Stadium and start taking pride and making sure people understand they've been in a football game when they come to Pullman. And two, it's creating an environment ultimately this is a very challenging place to play. And we need help from our fans on that, but our players ultimately have to do the job. He's doing better. I think he's going to be. He'll practice today, and he's cleared to practice. And I think we'll just limit any contact right now, but at this point, it sounds like he'll be ready to go, as long as we just keep moving forward at this rate for Saturday.